We begin this morning with stunning developments here in New York City, where the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District, that's Danielle Sassoon, has resigned. And it comes days after her office was instructed by the Justice Department to drop corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams. Now, in her resignation letter, Sassoon said, quote, "I remain baffled by the rushed and superficial process by which this decision was reached." She also alleges Adams's attorneys recently offered the Justice Department a quid pro quo. And that is, if the feds drop the case, Adams would help the Trump administration with immigration enforcement. Now, an attorney for Adams denied that allegation, saying, quote, "The idea that there is a quid pro quo is a total lie," end quote. And we should note Eric Adams pleaded not guilty to the corruption charges and denies any wrongdoing. In a memo earlier this week, the U.S. acting Deputy Attorney General, that's Emil Bovee, told prosecutors to dismiss the charges against Adams, but added the Department of Justice, quote, "reached this conclusion without assessing the strength of the evidence or legal theories on which the case is based." And yesterday, in response to Sassoon's letter of resignation, Bovee slammed her, saying in part, her, quote, "office has demonstrated itself to be incapable of fairly and impartially reviewing the circumstances of this prosecution." Now, speaking yesterday, President Trump said he did not request the Justice Department to drop the corruption charges against Mayor Adams. For more on all of these moving threads, we're joined now by Kirk Burkhalter. He's a former detective for the NYPD and a criminal law professor at New York Law School. Perhaps you have to be a professor to understand all of this. It's great to have you on this breaking and developing story. Sassoon also wrote that it is breathtaking and dangerous precedent to reward Adams with dismissal due to cooperation on immigration enforcement. What impact does this have overall, no matter who you believe, on the integrity of New York's justice system?
Tremendous impact here. Good morning, first of all. And she used the term precedent. And I would say the term here, the operative term, is unprecedented. It's a cornerstone of our criminal justice system that it acts impartial in an impartial manner, and that cases are weighed on their merits. Further, U.S. attorneys operate without fear or favor, that's how they execute their duties. So what she's alleging here is that this action was precipitated totally void of the merits, and that this was simply quid pro quo. And certainly here in New York now, the concern is whether the mayor is beholden in any way to the Trump organization. So this is quite unprecedented, and it's rather amazing that she laid out her concerns in this 8-page resignation letter, which is more of a statement than a letter of resignation. So it's likely to have quite an impact, broadly speaking. However, it'd be very interesting to see what the next U.S. attorney does.
Well, and it's not just Sassoon. You also had the acting heads of the DOJ's criminal and public integrity divisions down in Washington, D.C. That's Kevin Driscoll and John Keller, also resigning in the wake of this Adams episode. I'm wondering if there is any instance during your time in law enforcement that's comparable to this.
Quite frankly, no. It's always a red flag when someone with the title, the word integrity in their title in any way, shape, or form resigns because they don't feel they can necessarily do their job. Now, that is not to say that anyone is acting in a criminal manner or so forth. And certainly this is highly charged politically. There's always turnover in the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney's Office when one party comes into favor and another one falls out of favor. That being said, what's interesting here is that we have members of the same party and members who are known to be quite conservative that are resigning. So this is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it.
All right, Kirk Burkhalter, great to have your insight on this news. Thanks very much.